Hey guys, it's Kristen from A Mindful Mom, where I get into the kitchen and share with you easy recipes your family will love. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make dairy-free Instant Pot yogurt. I am so excited to share with you this recipe today because I have been working on it for months. You guys have been asking me for a dairy-free yogurt recipe, and I've been testing and troubleshooting, and I'm finally confident to give you a recipe that you can make at home without a headache. This recipe for dairy-free yogurt is creamy, thick, delicious, and it's vegan friendly. And best of all, it's pretty easy thanks to the Instant Pot. You only need 3 ingredients to make dairy-free yogurt. The first is canned coconut milk. You want to make sure that you use full-fat coconut milk and one that only has 3 ingredients: coconut, water, and guar gum. Don't use light coconut milk, it won't work. Trust me, I've tried. The next thing you need is a yogurt starter. Now, once you've made your first batch of yogurt, you can use some of your homemade yogurt and use that as a starter for future batches. But the first time, I really recommend purchasing a yogurt starter. I will link to one below that's vegan friendly. You're going to need 1/4 of a teaspoon of yogurt starter per can of coconut milk. And the last thing you need is a stabilizer. You can use gelatin or agar. Gelatin is not vegan friendly, but agar is. So either one will work perfectly. I've tried them both. They both work. They both help the yogurt to set up and get creamy, because plant-based milk will never get as creamy as dairy-based milk without a little help from a stabilizer. Okay, so let's get started making our yogurt. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to turn your Instant Pot to the boil function. And how you do that is you hit yogurt and adjust until it reads boil. Now, we don't need to boil our coconut milk. All we're doing is warming it through with our gelatin or agar so that it's nice and incorporated, and the gelatin or the agar dissolves into our coconut milk. We just want to heat it until it's just dissolved, or between the temperatures of 110 and 115 degrees. Pour in your coconut milk and add in your agar or your gelatin, and whisk well until it's nice and incorporated. All we're doing right now is just heating our milk to 110 to 115 degrees and letting the gelatin or agar fully dissolve into the coconut milk. Our coconut milk has been canned, so it's already been pasteurized, so we don't need to heat it to a full 180 degrees. So just use a digital thermometer and check to see when your coconut milk gets to between 110 and 115 degrees. Once you've reached that temperature, you're going to turn your Instant Pot off, hit off, and then I'm going to strain my coconut milk over a strainer that's been lined with cheesecloth. Coconut milk has a lot of fat solids in it, and even though we heated it, there might be some remaining, and so I want to make sure that I get rid of any of those so that my final product is a creamy yogurt. Once our yogurt has been strained, it's time to add in our starter. Remember, you just need 1/4 of a teaspoon per can of coconut milk. At this point, remember, you want to make sure that your milk is just at that temperature between 110 and 115 degrees. If you've heated your milk past that, you want to let it cool back down to 115 to 110 degrees so that you don't kill off the active cultures found inside your starter. If you do that, you're not going to be left with coconut milk at the end of this process. Now you can pour your coconut milk back into your inner pot to culture the yogurt, or you can pour into a glass jar, which is what I'm going to do. The reason I do this is because once my coconut milk has been set up in the Instant Pot, it needs to set for an additional 8 hours in the fridge before I can use it. and I don't want to have to just take my inner pot from my Instant Pot and put it in my fridge for an additional 8 hours. I want to be able to clean it and use it as needed while my yogurt is setting up in the fridge. But you can certainly do what works for you. If you're using a heat-safe jar to incubate your yogurt, all you're going to do is put your trivet inside your Instant Pot, and then you want to add in 1 cup of warm water. Now I know I always tell you add cold water to your Instant Pot, but we're going to be incubating yogurt, which is done at that temperature of 110 to 115 degrees. So we want our water to be that temperature already so that the yogurt can begin to ferment and culture and do its thing. Then you're just going to set your jar in here, add your water, and pop the lid on. Now we're ready to incubate our yogurt. You need a bare minimum of 8 hours to incubate your yogurt, but you can incubate it up to 24 hours. I've found with dairy-free yogurt, the longer you incubate, the better. It will get thicker and tangier, and it'll just be that much more delicious. So I set my yogurt for 24 hours to incubate. And how you do that is you press yogurt and hit adjust until it reads 24. After you've set incubation time on your Instant Pot, you'll see that it starts out by reading 000 and it will count up. Unlike when you set pressure time and it cooks down, incubation time, it'll show the time cooking up. So you can see how much time is left on the incubation process easily by looking at the screen. And once the full 8 to 24 hours of incubation time is done, you want to remove your inner pot from your Instant Pot and either place the entire inner pot into your fridge, or if you've transferred your coconut milk to a jar, you want to place your jar in the fridge and leave undisturbed for 8 hours. That'll help that yogurt set up and get thick and creamy. And I have one ready for us. Here's a batch of homemade coconut milk yogurt. It's super thick, it's super creamy, and it's super delicious. At this point, you can add in some maple syrup, some vanilla extract to flavor. I wait until after it's cultured to do that. You can also remove a tablespoon of this plain starter to use for your next batch of homemade dairy-free yogurt. For this recipe and for more Instant Pot recipes, be sure to visit amindfulmom.com. Happy cooking!